Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Knowledge Gap Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Ignis, and today we are talking about how you can use the free version of Chat GPT to save time in your business. Let's get rocking. All right, guys, I'm here to talk to you about something mind-blowing. Do you know how long it took Netflix to reach 1 million subscribers? It took 3.5 years. And what about Facebook? 10 months. Instagram, do you know how long it took? Only 2.5 months. But that's nothing compared to Chat GPT. This thing is a game changer, people. Chat GPT was launched in November of 2022, and it took just 5 days to reach 1 million users. 5 days. Can you imagine that? That's crazy. It's one of the hottest tools out there, and it's just the beginning, and it's something that you don't want to be behind the 8 ball on, because in a couple years, it's going to revolutionize business, and if you aren't using it, your competition will be using it. Now, are you ready for a productivity tool that can save you time and help you grow your business? First things first, what the heck is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a technological powerhouse backed by some huge companies. It's an open AI source, essentially means there's free versions, there's paid versions, but essentially it's like talking to a personal robot that knows everything online before the year 2021. It's essentially Google and Wikipedia all mashed into one, except you can type in your question. Instead of surfing, it gives you out the answer that you're looking for. So instead of clicking on hundreds of sites and figuring out where to find the actual information, you literally just get the answer you're looking for from asking the question. So if you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want to keep growing your business and not struggle against the competition, then you need to getting on ChatGPT today. Again, you don't want to be left behind, curled up in the fetal position, sucking your thumb, wishing that you had gotten on board with this 10 years earlier like everybody else with cryptocurrency. You want to be at the forefront of the revolution, growing your business, increasing your profits, helping more people, and changing the world. And that's exactly what I'm going to help you do. So here are 5 practical ways to use ChatGPT for free in your business. All right, so number 1 is actually using them for email templates. Now, when you use it for email templates, you still need to proofread your email, but just check this out on the screen. So you can literally type in, okay, write me an email to existing, and you want to be as specific as possible when you're writing this. So write me an email to existing clients in we'll just use consulting business, telling them about, let's just say, a 50% off promotion. A 50% off promotion on, we'll just say merchandise, just to keep it simple, just to keep it, very specific, okay? And check this out. It's literally writing me an email template. Where this comes into play in business is there's a service called Time that I have used, and this is nothing against Time, and I haven't even researched all these other, softwares and websites, but Time is essentially a personal assistant online. So they find all these, well-qualified personal assistants, and it's like $35 an hour, so you get these different subscriptions, and they'll write you email templates, for example, is one of the things you could do, or have them write copyright, and this is a way that you can get some free templates. Now, I will almost guarantee these are not as good as some of these incredible experienced people, but you can get simple templates, proofread, make simple edits, have, things outlined for you so you can go ahead and just send the emails, because, the difference between a couple small things, if you're a small business and it's, very warm connections, isn't going to make the biggest difference. What they care about is that you're sending the information and getting it over to them. It's all about your audience, so keep that in mind. But you can do email templates. I mean, how cool is that, right? So use number 2 that I have personally used in my business, just like email templates, is contract templates. I used to use something called Inkfile, and I would go on Inkfile, I would file for an LLC, and I'd pay an upcharge. They do everything for me, which is totally worth it in my opinion. And then they would have these little upsell packages, and one of them was a bunch of templates for, contracts through business, sales contracts, partnership agreements, all these kind of things. And I spent like $150 on it. And this is something that you should never, ever spend money on ever again. And actually, I've made 3 or 4 different contract templates that I've had to make some edits, but gives me the whole contract templates because you can do what I'm about to show you on the screen. And if you're listening on the podcast, I'm going to tell you exactly what to type in to create a contract for your state. I'm going to do a lease agreement, for example, because if you're listening to this, you might want to get into real estate investments and portfolios like Airbnbs and long-term rentals. And a lot of times, like, how do I do this lease? And I've done leases before. I've actually bought some from some websites before. And when I put in what I'm about to put in about the lease, it turns out exactly the same wording as what I've paid for online hundreds of dollars before. This is crazy. So all you do is said, make me a 12-month, so you want to put your term, lease for a $1,200 per month rental unit in the state of Tennessee at 123 Happy Lane. I just made that up, of course. Happy Lane between Joe Ignis and Joe Smith. And check this out. If you can't see on the screen and you're listening on the podcast, it's literally writing me a lease agreement from scratch with everything that I would need to put in there for this agreement to be legally viable. Now, if you've never ever paid for legal services and you're not even sure what you're looking for, it might be worth, for your own security to have someone look over something like this. But I have purchased lease agreements from, like LegalZoom and all these different legal websites. And it's exactly the same thing that I have purchased before, and it would hold up, which is pretty incredible. So it's still working on it and finishing here. It's probably going to take us about 30 seconds, but now I've got a lease agreement. There's all different contract agreements, leads partnerships agreements, partnerships, with different services or subcontractors that you want to make, or sales contracts. I typed up sales contracts before this, and now I could have saved, hours of time had I known about Chat GPT. Number 3, summarization and research efficiency. So instead of wasting a bunch of time going through tons of websites to research and summarize something, all you have to do is put a couple commands into Chat GPT about a certain topic, and it'll figure it out for you. For example, we had a few episodes back on the Milgram experiment, and I spent a lot of time reading through and researching it. But check this out. I can just say summarize, and if you're listening to the podcast, again, you can see this on YouTube, summarize the Milgram experiment, and it's going to give me exactly what I need to know, and so much faster than what I spent on preparing for that video. So if you're on the podcast listening, it just talks about how it's a controversial social experiment, 1960s, electric shock to the learner. And this is almost exactly what I was talking about in my video after researching it for an extended period of time. And it's so interesting, and yeah, it's really quite amazing how it's doing that. So you can summarize, you can research faster with Chat GPT. If you're not using it for that, you're wasting a ton of time researching, I promise you. Use number 4 is just simple scripts or layouts to get your thoughts organized. For example, if you're trying to think through how should I start writing a book, now you can literally just type in, how do I get my thoughts organized to write and then you put novel, self-help book, or whatever. We'll just say book. And if you're listening on the podcast, to start typing out all of these, different bullet points that are simple ways to start thinking about writing a book. Now, this in no way is going to be as good as a actual author who has written a book before. But if you're starting to think, I want to start a book, how do I start? You can literally just type it in here and, how do I start thinking about my book? And it's going to give you, some to-do items, which as human beings, we all know it's much easier to follow a list than create things from scratch, and it'll get you started. And a lot of these this is what I've done when I've been starting my book, is I just created a idea of what I wanted to get. But what I even did this backwards, where I wrote out everything about my book because it was my first time, and then I had to revise it a lot and created a really good outline later based on the idea I wanted to get across. And so anyway, this is pretty amazing. So that's super helpful in a basic sense. And use number 5, we've already talked about it. And of course, there's no limit to the uses you can do on Chat GPT. And I hope you would comment below with all the different ways that you use Chat GPT. But you can use this for training manuals. You can use this to write out instructions for a personal assistant about a certain product service that you use in your business. It's as simple as typing in, make a training manual for Google or any system that you use, and it will shoot out exactly how to use that software system instead of you having to go in to their website and try to find all of their different little training manuals. So of course, those are just a few things that I have personally tried. Again, there's no limit to what you can do, and I really highly encourage you to try using this. Again, it's chat.openai.com. It's an incredible resource. I love it, and I'm excited to hear about how you use it for your business. Now, all of these tips are well and good, but how do you specifically use ChatGPT for your business? I'm going to walk you through something I do with all of my clients to help them with their processes. This can save you time on writing training manuals, scripts, all these different things for some of the very simple tasks that you do that you've memorized with using certain softwares, certain systems in your business. So that way you can build out an incredible, reusable templates for everybody you hire in the future. Okay, so here's step by step. So step number one in limiting your admin tasks, right? And writing things like a training manual. Make a list of all of your current repetitive processes. Just a list, like everything from start to finish. We always map out my clients' sales processes, their fulfillment processes, start to finish. What is everything that you do from the moment you generate a lead to the very end when you are keeping in contact with a past client? What are you doing? And if you write it all out, what I then want you to do is identify your pain points. What are things that are really difficult and frustrating for you? Maybe they're not your personal skill set. There's not something you want to do long term, but you've been doing it because no one else is right now, or you haven't spent the time building it out, or maybe it's just really expensive to hire someone in that area. For those areas of high expertise that you love doing, I want you to mark those as things that you love doing. For all the frustrating points, put those as frustrations, things that you probably need to hire for, and you can actually use ChatGPT for many of these different areas, or to use it to build out a position to hire someone to use for these areas, which both of them are going to save you a ton of time. All right, so you've identified all of your pain points. Now start asking ChatGPT if they can help you streamline some of these pain points for when you hire a personal assistant or when you hire your next person, or see if it could just automate that itself or give you ideas. There might be softwares out there that can automate this for you for $15 a month, to where you could save several hours. How much more money would you make for your business if you could focus on sales or growing your revenue instead of spending 3 hours on administrative time? It adds up over long periods of time, and it makes a big difference when you can just focus on the most important parts and the most skilled aspects of your business that you enjoy, and that'll help you not burn out and grow your business. So overall, if you follow these steps, you list out your processes, you figure out what you have to be doing that no one else could do, you figure out what you can offload, hire out, and automate, use ChatGPT to either build out the job description or figure out softwares to automate for you, or automate some of the things itself, or create some templates to save you hours of time. So we talked a lot about what you can do with ChatGPT, and this is super important because there's a lot of things you can't do with ChatGPT. So here are 5 tasks that ChatGPT just really can't handle. And I know AI is a really impressive tool. It can really do a lot, and it looks very pristine. And I'll even give you some personal examples that I've done that are sort of embarrassing, but we're gonna walk through these things. So first off, ChatGPT can sometimes generate inaccurate or biased content, which is basically a big no-no for any business that cares about quality and also not getting sued. So just last year, for example, a CNBC editor used ChatGPT to generate some song lyrics, right? The tool came up with its own version of the song instead of the original. And according to the blog post by Level Up Coding, when someone asked ChatGPT to write some React components, it ended up generating some pretty messy code that wasn't very readable or usable. So yeah, so ChatGPT can't always be trusted and can be biased and give you some bad copywriting issues. So you always want to check and make sure that it's not copyrighted and that it's exactly what you're trying to get. So always proofread. So secondly, ChatGPT's data is limited. So you never ever want to use this for a marketing strategy or anything that has to do with 2023 or current events or what's happening right now. And here's why. It was only trained on the data up till 2021, meaning it doesn't have access to all of these recent events and information that are crucial for marketing strategies of today and tomorrow and and products and services that people need today and tomorrow. It's not accounting all the new technologies that have been invented since it started. It's not accounting for all the different, world events that have happened. So make sure that you're getting accurate results if you're doing, current events, things like that, and make sure that when you're doing a marketing campaign and marketing research that you're not using Chat GPT for all of that kind of stuff, how to build your marketing funnel. None of that's good. Thirdly, Chat GPT can't always verify the legal or ethical issues associated with content it generates. Okay, so it might unknowingly generate copyrighted content, again, or violate someone's privacy, which we didn't talk about before, and there's no way to know that. So you've got to be careful when using Chat GPT for certain tasks. So I was talking about making some contract templates. I wouldn't do a will, for example. And a will I wouldn't do because you don't want it to write something and have a clause in there that kind of screws you up later. I would use it for basic tasks that you would use over and over where you've got some experience reading through some of the documents beforehand so you can compare to make sure that it's the legal writing and style that you want to make sure it'll hold up in a court of law. Number 4, ChatGPT can't think critically or creatively like a human can. So for example, in my industry and other industries with consulting, even sports, I would say, right? So ChatGPT is not going to be able to model the personality of a really, really good sales script or the psychology of a really good sales script. It's just going to be grabbing what's free online. It's not going to be able to teach you how to be Michael Jordan in basketball. It's not going to be able to teach you how to be the number one salesperson at your brokerage or at your, in your sales organization. It's not able to do these high level, advanced, ultra specific, subjective, industry level tasks that you might have to do. And so it's not going to work for growing your entire business. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it will save you time and frustration on some of the administrative tasks. And that's what I would really focus on. And it needs human intervention to learn and adapt and grow its knowledge. So it is very limited in that respect. Finally, ChatGPT cannot offer personalized advice like a human can. It might give you general information or opinions, but it can't take into account your specific situation, your strengths, weaknesses, your branding, your goals, your mission, your vision, your values for your business. And so it doesn't have access to all the personal information that a human advisor can learn from and about you based on what you would prefer with the future and direction of your business. So there it is, folks. ChatGPT, it might be an impressive AI tool. It's going to help with administrative tasks, but it's got some limitations that you need to be aware of. And if you want to use it for business, make sure you're using it in the right areas and not relying on it too heavily. So those are the 5 critical do's and don'ts of ChatGPT to optimize your workflow, time in your business. If you found this episode on YouTube helpful and valuable, please give me a like to help out with the algorithm and leave a comment below about this video. If you liked this video, I will continue to make more and dive even deeper into ChatGPT and other efficiency, time-saving options to help you grow your business. This episode was sponsored by Campus Cuts by Monica, a local haircut salon for men that go to the University of Tennessee. If you're a male who lives within 5-10 minutes of the University of Tennessee campus, you need to be going to Campus Cuts by Monica. She has cut hair for celebrity athletes and so many more people, and she does an incredible job. She's even got a pool table, refreshments in there for you guys. So go to Campus Cuts by Monica. She's going to be moving here in the next bit, so keep up with that if you are a Campus Cuts by Monica enthusiast. And of course, if this episode gave you some perspective, I encourage you to share it with a friend who could benefit from it. We grow our channel completely organically. We don't rely on ads or anything like that. So we want to spread this wealth of knowledge to someone who would appreciate it, like someone you might know. This is Joe Ignis with the Knowledge Gap Podcast, where we inspire you to master your purpose and grow your business. We'll see you in the next episode.